Hey, new camera. So, I've been hard at work trying to get this game ready for the... Don't worry, we'll talk about that guy at the end of the video. I've been hard at work trying to get this guy ready for the future. My commitment with Vector always has been to create a small game that would be capable of running on pretty much any PC and offer it for free to anyone regardless of their gender, race, location, wealth, etc. Over time, however, various features within it have broken down due to, in no small part, my poor planning. To give an example, the YouTube feature never worked on Linux. It doesn't matter if you use the Linux version or the Windows version in compatibility mode, it just doesn't work due to technical limitations of the Unity game engine. And if you're on Windows, then the feature only works like half the time. This is because the implementation was always a hack that was never officially supported by YouTube to begin with. So every time YouTube would change something, even minuscule on their platform, bye-bye functionality. Fact of the matter is, the YouTube video playback never should have left development. It should have just been a cute little experiment, and that's it considering how unstable it is. And it's by no means the only problem plaguing Vector. So for the time being, I've put a complete halt on Svet development in order to give its granddad a makeover and rebuild it in such a way that it becomes more robust, more timeless, and can survive forever into the future on the Steam platform. And today, I'm proud to reveal Taranossa's Vector 1.3. The Forever update. So what's changed? Let's get into the painful stuff first. Multiplayer, gone. Only 1% of Vector players ever launched the multiplayer to begin with. 1%. And I'm saying that launched it. I can't really find much data to suggest that anyone actually played it regularly, so it immediately got axed in favor of simplifying game code. YouTube, gone. It doesn't work half the time, and the other half when it does work, it's buggy as hell. With the advent of the Steam Deck, which is a Linux device, the number of people for which this feature won't work just keeps growing. What's even the point? Axed. Shadow playback. This has been broken for a long time in Vector, and I made the decision to remove it completely. So, in the bin it goes. And when I say it's been broken for months, and nobody even noticed it. Remove the ability to write in your own custom name. Nobody would ever type in their name, nobody would use it, nobody cared, and why keep it? You can just go in Steam and change your name there, and it will use that new name, so what's even the point? That was a completely pointless feature to begin with. Rebindable controls. This one's gonna be a little bit controversial, as I didn't really want to remove it, but I have Discord integrations. I have beef with Discord, and that's all I'm gonna say about it. Sorry. And that's it for the painful stuff. It's a comprehensive list, but in the interest of making the game better for the future and making it timeless, it had to be done. But now let's talk about what's good. Steam leaderboards. Simply put, I just ripped out the custom leaderboard logic I had in the game and decided to use the Steam leaderboards instead. Not only are they more powerful than the things I had, but they have a total cost of sweet Foxtrot Alpha. And on that topic, the whole custom backend is gone. Vector now relies fully on Steam for its server-side processing. This is both bad and good, but I think the benefits outweigh the negatives. It's better because while it does depend on Steam now, as opposed to depending on my backend, it's free. So it goes online with the game being free on Steam. And not only that, but the Steam backend is not gonna go away. It's not the only game that relies on it. I mean, as long as Counter-Strike and Team Fortress is gonna exist, the backend's gonna exist. So there's pretty much zero chance in the future that this game will not work anymore. Which wasn't the case with the backend that I made and I had to continuously pay in order to keep online. And now, besides the Top Dog and Hardcore and Speed Demon leaderboards that are present in game, the daily ones, there's also Steam global leaderboards for Top Dog, Hardcore, and Speed Demon that you can access outside of the game in the Steam Community Hub and just basically look at your ranking there amongst your friends or amongst everybody else. Those leaderboards never get deleted, so once you set a high score, it will be immediately reflected there, and basically you can just compete with whoever you want. Another benefit to using Steam as the backend, there's now profile pictures everywhere in the game. So if you go in-game on the leaderboard, you will see your profile picture, and the profile picture of everybody for that matter, next to their name, as well as you will see it on the track, when you see that marker saying where they died, you will see their name and their profile picture there. And while this sounds like a very small benefit, pictures are a lot more recognizable than names, especially when you're going at high speed, so you don't have time to basically read but you see the picture, and if that user doesn't really change it, you will know who you're competing against, and you will know who you just surpassed in the game, and I think that's actually quite the benefit. I brought back the native Linux build. I know there were like 4 Linux users that really missed it, so congratulations, it's back. Now, in all fairness, I did this pretty much for the Steam Deck, because it just works better on the Steam Deck if it's natively Linux, the OS that the Steam Deck runs. And I've extensively tested it to make sure that it runs on the Steam Deck as well as it possibly can. But the benefit is, because now it's natively for Linux, every other Linux user can attempt to use it. I'm not saying I support it, but give it a shot, it might work. The menus have received a final overhaul, and I'm hoping this is gonna be the last one. I've basically simplified them and made them more icon driven. This was very purposeful to make them more understandable by people that are not English speakers. Yes, the vast majority of Vector players speak English, but that's also kind of derived from the fact that since English was the only language in the game, it would alienate every other nationality from trying it out. And that's not what Vector is about. So I've taken the decision to basically make it as unintuitive for everybody equally. I admit, it's by no means perfect. It can get confusing. But now at least it's equally confusing for everybody. And to try and ameliorate some of that confusion, on the main menu, there is a guide button that if you press on it, it will open up a Steam page with a user guide in multiple languages explaining what each button does. I'm going to keep adding more languages as time goes on, and I invite people, if they want to help out, to make their own user guide, or send me text telling me if some of the translations are off, because I'm using an AI to basically translate them, because I don't speak pretty much any other language apart from English and Romanian, and that should make it accessible for everybody, I hope. We'll see, time will tell. There is a good side to removing all the features that I mentioned above, and that is the code is simpler. When the code is simpler, it runs faster. When it runs faster, it means better performance for everybody. So there has been a slight performance bump in Vector, and it runs a little bit better on machines, especially lower end machines, but it's very hard to measure for me, because the lowest end machine right now that I have in my house is the Steam Deck, and on that it runs fantastic. So hopefully for people that have less powerful computers, you will see a difference there if you're playing it on such a machine. Okay, but enough blabber. When's the update coming out? Well, if you're watching this video, I got news for you. It's out. Go, download, play, link in the description, and it's free. So go beat my high score on the global leaderboard if you think you're that special. And if you think that you prefer Vector 1.2, mainly because of its multiplayer, maybe you're one of those 2 people that actually played it or were playing it, I've left it available in a separate branch on Steam. I will basically put on screen now a few instructions on how you get to that branch and basically use it so you can use Vector 1.2 and play multiplayer with somebody if you want to. But I will not be maintaining it at all going into the future, and I can't guarantee it's gonna still work after I turn off the backend on my side. I hope it does, but I don't know, I haven't tested it, and I'm not supporting it going forward. So, why am I swapping out the backends? As you may or may have not noticed, the UK is going through a little bit of a cost of living crisis. We are scheduled to be one of only 5 countries that are not expected to basically have a positive return on our GDP in the next year. And this has been felt by everybody. Some people can't afford heating and food at the same time. This is not my case. I am quite okay, but in the interest of financial responsibility, I am cutting costs a little bit. So I can't justify maintaining the back end of Vector anymore, because it is a cost a month. It's not a lot, but it is enough to warrant it being shut down so I can save a penny. Therefore, that backend is getting turned off. Steam will take over for everything because it's basically free, like I said. And yeah, it is what it is. And finally, what about Zvet? Because I did allude to it in the beginning, and it would be really nasty for me to just ignore it now. Well, the good news is, actually the good news, there is no bad news. I've reached a point where there is a core of the game that I'm really happy with. It feels good to play. It feels good to just jump around, and I have a few design patterns that I'm working with. Basically, one of the things that's going to be different from Vector is that you can go in any direction as opposed to just down one lane. You can steer, you can turn, etc. There are going to be more changes, but right now I'm at a point where I need to decide in what direction I want to take that game. So before I'm going to provide any sort of official update on it, I'm going to have to take myself in a corner and have a stern talking to myself to decide what the game is going to be. And once I've processed through all of those feelings and emotions and ideas and so on, I will write it down and make an update video saying basically what the game's gonna be and what it's gonna be like. But until such a time, here's a little combination of videos I've taken from it during development to carry you over. Peace!